down expectations or resetting expectations. These are still pretty bad. What does it say to you about Tesco, and what does it say to you about our sector?
I think it remains very tough for Tesco, and I think, you know, their sales have been very poor, but we've seen the discounters be very strong, and you're now looking at Aldi and Lidl with 7% share of the market. They were nowhere a few years ago. I think the very interesting thing that's going to be is will Tesco's margins, which are at 5%, which are still very high, going to come under attack. We saw Asda announce price drops yesterday, and I'm quite concerned that we could see in the short term an outbreak of a price war in the UK, which is going to be tough for everyone.
Do you blame management? Has management been too slow?
They've done some very good things, like finally grappling the US and shutting that down. But I think undoubtedly the scale of the problems are quite large at Tesco's, and this current management team still has a lot to do.
Schroders don't like the food retailers anyway to invest in, right?
I personally am quite worried about the structural impact of online trading. As one of the few female fund managers in the city, I know that if I possibly can avoid going into a supermarket, I will, and I'm just concerned about what that leaves the shape of their property portfolios with stranded assets.
How do you position in financial services ahead of these expected multi-million euro rigging fines?
I think a lot of the bad news on LIBOR has been expected. It's been so well signalled. But I think as a whole, the litigation risk in financial services from things like selling mortgage-backed securities in the US remain very high. And it is very difficult, even after you've spoken to lawyers, to know where they end up. So I think it's about an ongoing multi-year headwind for the sector.
Do you like the sector? Do you like financial services?
I do. I actually think they're one of the cheaper sectors, and they are very geared into an uptick in the economy. But you do have to expect these kind of nasty headlines occasionally when you open up the newspapers.
Autumn statement in the UK tomorrow. We've had some great manufacturing PMI numbers. Services PMIs are out later. How do you best position as an investor in the UK in anticipation of what we might get from Osborne?
I think Osborne's got a bit of manoeuvrability, but not a huge amount. I think he'll, do something on energy bills, but overall he's going to want to be talking about the recovery and things being on track. So I think, there might be a bit of relief for some utility companies, but as a whole, I don't think it's going to be about a dramatic change of the autumn statement.